Hi Joe, mate, you alright?
Very well, thanks, yeah.
Good. So a return to a former club you know very well tomorrow as a player and manager. On a personal level, how does it feel for you going back there?
Yeah, well, it's still my hometown club and a club I represented for many years as you say, as a player, coach and youth development and all the way up to manager. It's always a buzz to go back, and it's nice to go back to see people that I've got a lot of respect for, and other people coming to the game, ex-players that I've played with, so it's always nice to catch up when we go back, but obviously from a competitive point of view it's one that we want to go and try and win.
Yeah, so obviously they're not doing too great in the league at the minute. Do you keep an eye on their results at all, or is it just sole business with Newport at the minute?
Well, I think most of our focus is on ourselves, but of course in the week building up to any game, you know, strategy has to be taken into account, and we need to look closely at the opposition, systems, formations, and basically how they play and the kind of impact obviously that the new management team have had. So yeah, you can't just push the team away. Like, you know, we've never done that, never will do it, and I don't think anybody does really. But we'll have a big focus on ourselves going into the weekend, a busy weekend.
So it's 4 away wins in the last 7 and 2 defeats have become by 1 goal. So you're proving quite hard to beat on the road. Is that an approach you take for that, or is it just a game by game process?
No, we have a strict game by game process. We're only as good as the next game, if you like. We have to take it game by game. I know there's a lot of periphery talk and so on, but within a camp we keep it to the next game, and all we can see is Friday and Colchester, and we put everything into that game as much as we can to try and take something from it before we even think about going into the next game.
Yeah. Graham mentioned after the Barrow defeat a bit of a lack of hunger and desire from some of the players to win a game. Is that something you addressed over the 2 weeks, or do you think it was just a one-off?
Well, I think consistently over the course of the season, I think there's been a real focus on our energy. Yeah. We know when we're good, and we know there are things that we need to improve on if we're not quite at our game. I think the disappointment from the Barrow game was, as what the gaffer said, we were kind of probably slightly off it in certain moments of the game, but I think that was the same for both teams. It was a close game in difficult conditions, and obviously one moment separated both teams. Getting back to what we're good at is going to be needed tomorrow, that's for sure, based on obviously the duels that we pride ourselves on winning, first and second balls, and then a lot of energy. And at times at the weekend that was certainly missing, but we've spoke this week, we've debriefed, and again, just trying to realign the team to what we're good at.
And how does it feel having, obviously with the international break, how does it feel having that extra time with the players? Does it really benefit you guys?
Well, we've only got one player away, so in terms of training and coaching, the week has looked the same. The week has looked a case of managing the players who are not on the grass, the ones who are coming back, and we're trying to get fit, making sure that they get as much work into them as we possibly can. And then it's like, I think the gaffer has sat here many times and said we'll see what we have today, and that is us. I mean, that's not just a cliche, it is actually us, is to see what we have available. But definitely there's some players here that played a lot of minutes in a lot of games that they haven't done for a few seasons themselves at other clubs, so we have to manage their load. And obviously Tuesday gave us a really good opportunity to look back at the weekend and certainly look forward to this weekend.
Yeah. So you guys are on 55 points at the minute, 57 last year. If you get the win tomorrow, it takes you to 58, you beat your target from last year. Does that give you the extra incentive and motivation to go get the win, or is it just still business as usual?
We want to win every game. We have a goal that we want to reach as certainly as a management team. Certainly as a group of players, and what we're achieving this year against a lot of odds, I think we have a goal, and once we reach that goal we'll draw a line under that and then try and kick on to the next one. But to say we want to be better than what we were last year would be correct, yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much, Joe.
No problem.
As a club, got a pretty good record against Colchester, I think. Is there?
Yeah, I think recently, certainly since my time here, and I think other clubs I've been at watching results. Sometimes that happens, but I think going into this weekend there's a different outlay on the game. I think they probably didn't expect to be where they are. A lot of people probably didn't expect for us to be where we are. So it's an important weekend, starting with Friday.
Is their new manager? What's he changed? Do you think about?
Well, I think the one thing since obviously they've come in, and they've been vast experience, people that I know very well from my time working in Essex. You look at, since they've come in, they've improved the dual percentage that they're in games. So you can see from the results that they've had, their pretty way of playing. They've got a way of playing. They've got a way of they've increased their aggression. They've increased their opportunity to stay in games a lot better. That's evident with, as I say, a lot of draws, if you like, and especially at home now with the pitch and so on. They've made them more competitive, for sure. But that's okay. You know, we pride ourselves on that. We pride ourselves on challenges. We pride ourselves on the aggression in games that we need. And when we're good at that, we're good at that. So they've certainly brought a massive competitive element to the group now.
The pitch, how's that? I mean, is it is it still boggy?
Yeah, it will be. I mean, having had experience there myself, the dimension change doesn't affect us. I mean, there's no excuses for that because we train on similar dimensions. We've looked at the data and the pitch markings and the array of training grounds we train at. We're pretty similar, so that won't have an effect on the game. Obviously, as the game draws on for both teams, the physical element might be one thing that comes into it. So then you're going to look to your bench to probably help, because there are areas where it's still sodden a bit. But no complaints. It's something that we train on, and the dimensions are the same.
Did you get on Spitty this week to a nice heavy
surface?
No,
I think actually Spitty's probably better.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
I think Spitty's actually better when you look at some of the footage. You know, and like I said, it's a genuine drainage issue that they've got, and certainly the wings. You know, if you're playing in the width area, the wide areas, you're going to be tested there so you've got to be spot on. But look, it's going to come down to desire, commitment, and all those things that we speak about and we pride ourselves in, that we need to bring to the table on Friday, because if we don't, we're going to be in serious trouble, as we found out in patches in that game the other weekend, where we need to be on our game, and it's very important that we bring that.
So training, how have you found it recently? I mean, it's been a ridiculously wet few months. Is that what are the challenges of having to change venues?
I think certainly when we come to the end of the season, we'll have a real debrief and look at it. We have changed a lot. I mean, we move around quite a bit. The people that help us with training grounds we're immensely grateful for. We don't necessarily own our own training ground, which obviously plays a part in certain things, the time we can get on training grounds, how much coaching we can get into, i.e. 60 minutes, maybe our 15-minute max, travelling to Cardiff sometimes to use the facilities that USW give us. All these things come into account, especially when they're all different surfaces as well. So we'll have a look at the end of the season, and it's never easy, but we look at this is what we are, and we get on with it. This is what we're about, and we love it in a way, because we don't have it easy, but that's okay. That's what we're about. We'll deal with it. We'll adapt to it. Yeah. Just get on with it.
And Hugh's recognised it as well, so it's one of those. It is
addressed,
isn't it?
I think for any football club, but I mean, I've been at previous clubs that were similar. Until they found a new base, and having a new base, it just helps develop the coaching aspect of what you want to do, the extra training, developing young players in that little age group bracket from about 18 to 21. If you have some, it's getting that extra bit into them, and I think that can certainly bring us forward. And it's great to know that Hugh is looking at that, because obviously the model that from previous, and if we can mirror any of that, I think hopefully it'll bring us out of what we are and into a new era.
It's three main ones, is it? Is it Spitty, Dragon Park?
Well, it can. Yeah, we've got.
Treforest,
yeah, but Treforest, Spitty, and obviously the two pitches 1 and 2 on the FAW. There's, but it's depending on which one we can go to on any given occasion. That's the key thing.
And time slots.
Time slots and whether it's AstroTurf or Grass.
Yeah. In terms of squad, Matty Baker, I think he got back yesterday, didn't he? Yeah. So is it a case of assessing him today and seeing?
No, 100%. I mean, we haven't seen him in a week really. He played here on Friday evening, and then he flew out, and then he played. I think it was 3/4. So he's going to have a condensed fixture pile up again based on playing for the Welsh under 21s. But as I said, we'll see how he is this morning and assess whether or not it's something that has come too quick, because it's not a Saturday, it's a Friday, and we'll look at that today.
Nick Townsend, is he?
Nick, we've managed Nick this week. We're expecting him on the grass today, and then again another player from the weekend that we'll assess. Yeah. But obviously Johnny went in and done very well, so from that point of view, we've got good competition.
Yeah. Declan Drysdale, how's he coming?
Declan's still the same. We're still managing his lot because we have to be careful. You know, I mean, obviously he's had one or two in the same area, so we have to be very careful, and that's going to be a slow process, and we'll manage his workload.
And we're scheduled to be chatting to young Harrison. How do you think he did on the first League Two?
Well, I think it's very important for young players, and I'm a great believer in this, and the gaffer is as well. You're nothing without opportunity, and if you're given your opportunity, you've got to try and do the best you can. You're not going to get everything right. I thought at the weekend he was competent. I thought he had a decent game. Aspects of the game that obviously he needs to work on, but having not played for so long, and we've got one or two like that really, who if you're on the periphery and you're not getting in, you've really got to pay attention. You've really got to, and it can be frustrating for a young player because you just want to play. But when you're called upon, you need to be ready, and certainly this weekend will probably provide that opportunity for some people. You know, you don't know what's going to happen on Friday, and then there's a quick turnaround to Monday, and then we go Saturday, Tuesday, the following week. So be ready, and you know Harrison needs to build on that performance now the weekend. And what we do know is now we can trust to put him in if he's selected to play and do a job for the team.
I guess one of those, the first one, isn't it? You almost not play it safe, but an element of play it safe. You know, just do your basics first, isn't it?
Correct.
That's your first one, and you want to see progression as he gets much.
When you play, when you're giving your, it's not his debut, but when you haven't played for a while and you go in, because they're all big games now. Between now and the end of the season, every minute of every game has got intensity. Has to have intensity to it, because everyone's got something to play for. Even the players have something to play for, and we as a management staff drive that into them every day. It's like tennis. Every point is winnable, so we have to go for it. And Harrison being thrown into that situation, and Caban might be thrown into that situation, and Bondswell might be thrown into that situation. Mate, be ready, and then when it comes, do the best you can, and you're correct. Do the basics, and if you do the basics well, generally you're playing to your strengths, and then hopefully good things can come.